So we've spent some time talking about credible sources, and here we have the credible Hulk who says, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry because I always back up my rage with facts and documented sources." Which is true. You guys are now like the credible Hulks. You've got lots of information, and you've got to make sure that in your writing you have cited your sources. So there's two ways that you can cite your sources within your writing. One is called in-text citation. And that's where during our rough copy, we just put off to the side our source numbers, or after the sentences, we put a little number for which source number it was. Now when we're typing our rough copy, we want to make sure that we actually write it in the formal process, which is to either include the author's last name and page number if you're using a book, or what most of us have are website citations. So we would include the fact, and then after each fact, we would either put the author's last name, the corporate author's name or publishing company's name, or the website's complete title, depending on what we have on our yellow source sheet. At the very end of your paper, the second piece that we're going to do to cite our sources is called a works cited page. In the past, you might have heard this called a bibliography. It's the same kind of thing. It gives the information for where you got your sources, so that if people should want to go and check your facts, they can go to your works cited page and they can look up your sources and then go to those sources for more info. So in your Google Docs, I've already added a page that looks something like this. There's two ways that you can do your works cited. One is the hard way. The other way is the easy way. So your first step is going to be to locate your paper. So I've got a kind student who volunteered to be my example. So I'm going to grab Daniel's paper that he's got so far, and he's got some of his information in there. The first step to adding the works cited is to actually go into this add-on section, which is probably a tab that you've never used before, but click on it, and you can see that right now Daniel doesn't have any add-ons, so he's going to get an add-on. And lo and behold, the one that I want is actually showing up. If it doesn't show up, type over here in the upper, in the search, type in EasyBib, but we want to use EasyBib. So I'm going to grab that, I'm going to click on Free, I'm going to click Allow, and now it's telling me that the add-on is up here, and sure enough, here it is. When I open it up under Manage Bibliography, it's going to give me a new screen off to the right called Cite a Source. And depending on if you have a book, a journal article, or a website, it'll change what you put into the search section. So Daniel used websites, and I have already found the websites that he used. I'm going to actually just copy my URL, or he could do this from his yellow source sheet, and then put the URL in here. And it's going to go and try to find that information. It's going to search for the information down here. Oh, no results found. Ooh, that means I got to try again. Hold on. All right, so the first URL didn't come up after trying that one twice, but the second one I was able to type it in, and here it came up, and it's Andrew Jackson's Shifting Legacy. So I'm going to select that. Let me go way down to the works cited page. You can see in the works cited page that I've got already some information in there. There are directions for how to do it the long old-fashioned way. We're just going to delete all that because you don't need to do it the long old-fashioned way. You're going to do it the easy way. And when we delete that, I'm going to then select what I have so far, and it's going to magically put in this information here. I'm going to say I want to make sure it's in that MLA style, which is the Modern Language Association. That's the style that we use throughout language arts writing in middle school and high school and into college as well. And then click Add Bibliography to Doc. And I'm going to get rid of the word bibliography and keep works cited instead. And that's citing of the sources. Now, because Daniel has one other source that he needs to cite, it's actually this one that came from World Book, and it wasn't showing up for me. World Book has already put it in the right format, so I'm just going to steal it from World Book. And I'm going to go copy, and I can see it starts with brands. Brands comes after the word Andrew in the alphabet, so I'm going to do a paste down here, and I want to make sure that my format matches, that that's Times New Roman. This should be Times New Roman as well, Times, and I want to make sure that my font size is all matching up at 11, or I'm at 12. Oh, I want it at 12. And that's citing your sources. So once you have added your in-text citations and done your works cited page, then the last step for today is going to be to do some self-editing. And you can see if you're looking over on the right-hand side, if you're on the right, you are perfectly on time. You're right where you should be. If you are working on the left, meaning that you still need to check in your paragraph skeletons and highlighting with me, or you still need to finish typing in Google Classroom, then you are officially behind. But if you're on the right, you're on time. Today's plan then is to add in-text citations, do the work cited, and spend some time self-editing. The self-editing looks like this. So this is the self-editing sheet. You're going to self-edit your own paper. So this will be prior to peer editing because you want to make sure that your paper is looking 100% good before you pass it off to a friend to look at tomorrow in class. So step one is to read your paper backwards, one word at a time. This is to outsmart our really smart brains. So I would start with correctly spelled is everything that sure make can you. And that's to make sure that you're looking at the actual words and making sure every word is spelled correctly. Second step is to identify the first word of each sentence. You don't want your entire paper to be filled with, like one person said last hour, they said, my whole paper, every sentence starts with Benjamin Franklin. Dude, that's boring. We don't want to listen to Benjamin Franklin did this, and then Benjamin Franklin did that, and Benjamin Franklin was a super guy. Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. So if that is your paper, you're going to want to spend some time maybe putting those into compound sentences or changing Benjamin Franklin to something like he or his instead of Benjamin Franklin every single time. Step 3 is to look at your different types of sentences. Make sure that you've got a variety of simple, compound, and complex, which hopefully you've already done on some level. Step 4 is to look at the lengths of your paragraphs. Make sure that they are similar in length. So for example, I wouldn't want all of my paragraphs to be 5 sentences long and then to have one paragraph that is 28 sentences long. That's too long. The last ones are to look at your topic sentences, make sure that it's introducing the information for that paragraph only. Number 7 gets at what we're working on today, having an in-text paragraph citation in the paper after each fact that you list. Number 8, for real, read your paper out loud and then read it out loud again. By reading our writing out loud, we can sometimes pick up mistakes that we can't necessarily hear with our eyes. So if you read it out loud, you can hear it much better. Number 9, make sure that each sentence has a capital letter at the beginning and that any I in your paper actually is an uppercase I. It's a capitalized I. And step 10, check everything over one last time. Make sure it's looking A-okay because tomorrow you will have someone peer edit your paper. That is everything. It's work time.